Welcome to Guitar Hunter Live. There are a bunch of you guys already here. This is fun. I saw there were people even before I started. I could see people sainting patiently, waiting patiently. I can't talk. Fret Level Midnight's here. James is here. Hello. Hi, everybody. Come on. Happy Friday, everybody. Patrick's here. Tom is here. Is baiting you with the title. Might have some fun with him today. Yeah, baiting. Yes. So there is a real phone number that will ring my actual phone coming here soon. Hey Sonia, hey everybody. Sonia, there it is, and everybody. Hey there from the Netherlands. So, man, I'm glad you're here. Rasmus, always good. Rasmus, I have to talk to you about some exciting things, some guitar stuff. I'm trying to figure out a way. I mean, you got to make some guitars. But anyway. Gary, hey, buddy. Paul Isbell. Is it Isbell? Isbell. Isbell. Caleb is here. Caleb, I meant to email you this week. I'm sorry I did. I ended up using the wrong lens, and I thought about changing it at the very last second. I have rediscovered the Razzmatazz-Caster. So this is the Razzmatazz-Caster, and I'm using a different software. So, oh, Caleb, your comment is still up. Where is it? I lost it. Elliot's here. Everybody. Hola. Jose's here. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Guys, this is so fun. I'm excited that you all are here. Yeah, so here in a minute, I'm going to start answering some phone calls. So if you want to call, feel free here in a minute. But I have rediscovered the Razzmatazz-Caster, which I have a new... I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I'm going to turn the guitar off. Are you getting some white noise from the guitar? I can't tell. I don't see it in here, but I'm going to do this just in case. But I've rediscovered the Razzmatazz-Caster, which is a guitar that was made by my friend Evan Dowie in New Orleans, and Evan is a dear friend, and he makes amazing guitars. Actually, it wasn't actually made by him. It was made by a friend, and so made by a friend named John Prendergast, who was a guitar builder in South Louisiana that I never actually got to know. He passed away, and some friends put me in touch with his widow, and I ended up spending about a year and a half selling through the collection of this guitar. So anyway, this guitar started out as just a giant Jazzmaster body with a Strat configuration and a control panel in the back. So we were kind of stuck with what to do with it. I brought my friend Evan in, who builds amazing guitars. I hear a high-pitched sound. What would the high-pitched sound? Let me see. I'll just go ahead and turn this. I'll turn the gain all the way down on that one as well. That should be good. I'll just have to remember that everything is down on the guitar channel. So that should be everything. But, okay, so anyway, long story short, on the Rude Revelator. Nope, hang on. This is the Razzmatazz-Caster, which is the name I came up with. So it is purple sparkle. It's hard to see. There it is. There's a little bit of the sparkle. So my goal on this was to make the biggest, most ridiculous, obscene guitar I could, be purple sparkle and be like cream. That was kind of a... Anyway, we wanted to make it super funky, super jazzy. And so made this guitar. It is so heavy. I've had this guitar. This guitar is a source of deep frustration. And yeah, so it like this guitar did not turn out the way I wanted. Evan did everything great the way that I wanted it, but this guitar is it's an epoxy finish, so it's like chipped up and there's some soft spots, and then the finish is darker than we planned for it to be. The pick guard is accidentally completely a cower shape, and that was a genuine, honest mistake, and it probably came from just Evan and I sending back and forth, just like dozens of pictures of like, hey, here's a cool pick guard. And so anyway, this guitar has arrived in bits and pieces. I flew to Louisiana a couple years ago to pick this up and to pick up the body and the neck and got it back here. I put it together. And the very last thing I did, which is why I've just left it alone, is the very last thing I did was I went to put a focus on that. I went to put the string tree on it, and literally the last turn of the screw broke off in the headstock. It's just really hard maple, even though I drilled a pilot hole, even though I'd already gone in and out. And that's probably my mistake, was that I'd put it in and then I wanted to, I was easing it in. So I'd go in, go out a little bit, go back in, and the last turn, it just sheared off. So anyway, killed me. So this guitar, I've been playing this guitar a ton this week because I'm at the end of filming Better Guitars Faster, which is an amazing... This thing seems in the way. Let's do it this way. Better Guitars Faster is a course that is going to launch really soon in the next couple weeks. We hope to get it out. It is it's the best treatise I've ever done on how to buy the right guitars, how to sell the wrong guitars, and how to end up with a really cool... Hold on. What? Hold on. Something happened. Okay. Anyway, I'll come back to the comments. But how to buy the right guitar, sell the wrong guitars, end up with a meaningful guitar collection. It's the coolest. It's the hardest I've ever worked on anything in my life in this video course, writing it and creating it, filming it. And so anyway, I'm into like the end of the second week doing it, and I have just like one more day. I should be able to finish it up on Monday. So anyway, offsets tend to be heavy. Yes, this one is insanely heavy. But in the process of filming the last section of that, the big section is all about how to, like, the roles, like how to build a guitar collection. And so I'm putting it into, like, there are certain archetypes, certain characters that you need to have if you're casting the film that is your guitar collection. And for me, I forget what I call this one. I'll have to come back to this idea later. But this one is like the one that just kind of like you're stuck with. So this is a guitar that I like didn't necessarily want. I thought we would just like make it and sell it, but I'm just kind of stuck with it. Like, I don't want to sell it because I'm nostalgic to it. And anyway, I've rediscovered that it sounds awesome. We made super funky 70s. So like there's some compression on that guitar I was playing earlier, but it's also just this guitar just seems to naturally be compressed and sound funky and twangy, and I like it a lot. It still has a couple big problems that I'll fix one of these days. Hoff Guitars, hey, you're finally here. I'm glad you're here. Let me go back to the comments. There's some people talking about telling me what clothes they're wearing. I don't know. Can't say hear any white noise on a Galaxy phone. Terrible audio. Yeah. If you're on a phone, I feel like it took me so long. It is a very hard thing to send good audio out. And bad audio has a really profound ability to make bad video. So, yeah, offsets are super heavy. I want a guitar like that painted like a king cake, true Louisiana. That would be awesome. Yes, you should. And tell me how it goes. That would be awesome to have it like gold, purple, and green. That would be very cool. I just called the number to ask a question, and your phone screener asked me what I was wearing. What? That's not true. It's just a Google Voice line. It goes straight to me. Oh boy, so many notifications. So many. Okay, well, with that said, oh, if I don't go back to the same comment. Okay. So, I think most everybody's here. 55 people, there's some people on Facebook as well. So you have a Purple Jazz Master parts caster that you're also fixing and I'm stuck with. Yes. I don't know. This one is like big and absurd and funny and weird and, I'm into it, but it's also, just tell what you're wearing. It'll be fine. Khakis. Yeah, it's weird that commercial got remade, right? Anyway. Okay. Well, with all that said, we're going to see how this works. I don't have a fancy way of doing this. I'm just going to, if people call me, it's going to go straight to speaker. So yeah, this is going to be just kind of a general Q&A video because, like I said, my brain is fried. I have been writing, composing, doing all kinds of stuff with, doing all kinds of stuff this week with the guitar course, which like I said, I'm super excited about. And it will be coming out. We'll put it out in the next couple weeks. So once we finish filming it, we're then going to go through all of the creation, all the content creation for editing, creating all the PDFs, creating the workbook, creating all the extra materials, the quizzes, the graphics. It's going to be a lot, but it's an amazing, it's the best tool I've ever made. And I'm super excited to get people in front of it and help people see it. So with all of that said, let's start taking phone calls. So I'm going to put up the phone number 540-324 8405. And it should be said, this is not my personal cell phone number. I'm not that dumb. I am dumb sometimes, but Tom is calling. All right, here we go. Tom. Hey, buddy. Hey, are you... So this is Tom in the chat. I just put the number. So here's the number you can call if you want. Tom is first in line. Tom, tell people who you are.
All right, since you titled this one, "Guitar Pedals Are a Waste of Money."
Oh, did I name? Oh, that's funny. Whoops, that was the first idea for this live video today. I should change that, shouldn't I? Oh boy.
I've been frustrated with my tone coming out of a PA system when playing acoustic, so I went out and bought a preamp. You still with me?
Yeah. So you got a preamp for your acoustic stuff.
Yeah, I went with the T-Rex combo pedal.
Yeah.
Are you using I'll give you the question and I'll hang up. Are you using a preamp, and what are the qualities that you're using in a preamp?
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Sure, I'll answer that. So the question is, so Tom is unhappy with his acoustic tone when it comes through a PA. He's bought a preamp, and he's wondering, do I use a preamp, and what are my settings, or what do I look for in a preamp? So let me grab mine. I'm using two preamps, and I'll grab this. So also, it is a problem that this video is called "Pedals Are a Waste of Time." Whoops. I'll need to change that. I can change it fairly quickly, I think. Let me see if I can think and talk if I can talk. That's funny. It's proof I can't think and talk at the same time. But I can change the name of this video, at least on YouTube, while we're talking. Okay, do I use an acoustic preamp? I do. I use two, and I'll show them to you here in 1 second. Let me change the title of this. Okay, I changed the name over here on YouTube. So anyway, we'll save that one for one day. I'll do a video all about how pedals are a waste of money. I think that I'll close out one thought here. I think that pedals are the biggest risk towards gaining momentum in a guitar collection of anything that you're trying to buy. Behind that, it's like accessories, like amps and stands, or like amp stands and guitar stands and cables. And I only use soldered patch cables that I make myself, all of those things. Oh, somebody's calling me. Okay, let me answer this super quickly. For acoustic preamps, I use two. I use the LR bags. This is the Venue DI. I have used this for probably almost 10 years. I love these. They do a bunch of things that are really important for your tone. They help you control the EQ. The problem playing acoustic is that, okay, main things that I have to have in a preamp if I'm playing out acoustically, I have to be able to control when my guitar signal is on and off, so I need a mute. I need to make sure that I'm in tune, which everybody needs to make sure you're in tune. Hey, here's an easy one. If you want to sound like a better guitar player, just be in tune all the time. And don't be heard when you don't need to be heard, and be in tune when you are heard. So this is a pedal, this is a tuner. It's also an EQ. The other problems with acoustic stuff is that more often than not, your guitar tone is at the mercy of whoever's playing it in the PA. So for me, having an EQ, having a low pass filter, which the LR Bags doesn't have, which is why I use the Fishman, because certain pickups are not as good. So I have the Fishman tone deck that allows me to do a low cut, because I have like a K&K Pure Mini in two of my guitars now, and so I need to be able to cut out that super low range woof. So anyway, that's the other one. So for me, the main things I need to have are a tuner, a mute, a boost, a low cut filter, and then effects are helpful. Like I like reverb, because an acoustic guitar without reverb in a sterile sounding room, like a bar, or rooms that don't have natural reverb, like really well sound treated. Anyway, I'm getting more calls, so I'm gonna answer the next call. So that was the main one. All right, here we go. This is a number from San Antonio. Hello, this is Jeremy the Guitar Hunter.
Hey Jeremy, it's Fret Level Midnight.
Fret Level Midnight. Hey buddy, how are you?
How's it going? I just want to be quick with you, because
Sure.
I know other people are going to call in on you. But I'm gonna drop in the electric content for your channel.
Do it.
You're the acoustic guy.
I have plenty of electric guitars.
Check out. I'm just joshing you, man.
Yeah.
The Laguna LE300
Okay.
was a Guitar Center house brand. They don't make it anymore. They
Yep.
do Mitchell now.
Yep.
But the Lagunas were great. So the LE300 is not their top model, just before the top model. Top one's the Gray Cow. You can get the LE300 for $200-ish
Okay.
on reverb. Louisiana Swamp Ash body.
Cool.
Fantastic Alnico 5 pickups. They're amazing. And the other thing I want to drop to people is the Guitaria. That's Getaria,
Oh boy, that's confusing.
which is like a Cuvave or Cuvave, whatever,
Yep.
Cube Baby. It's the same pedal.
Mm-hmm.
And these are amazing because they have chorus, they have reverb, they have delay, they
Awesome.
have amp sims, cab sims, micro USB, and they charge to micro USB, and they have a Bluetooth connection as well.
Oh, awesome.
So anyway, just a little fun.
Cool.
I'll
That's
let you
cool.
go.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Take it easy, bud.
All right, bye. That was Fret Level Midnight. So he was saying that there's some real sleepers coming from the guitar brands before. There was Mitchell, there was Laguna, and what was it, the SE200. So it sounds like a cool electric guitar with ash, like an ash body. And that's a good combination. Good bright pickups in the Alnico with an ash body. Good setup. Gary asked a great question. He's coming from Facebook. Gary says, Fishman equipment preamps work really well. And then there's another question Gary had, which is not sure if you're covering pedals. Any good pedals for acoustics? Good pedals for acoustics, in my opinion, are all the LR bag stuff is really good. And then a lot of other delays and reverbs all work well from the electric world. Here's a phone call from Georgia. Hey, this is Jeremy.
Hey, this is James. How you doing, man?
Hey, James. Good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Perfect. What's your question?
So my question is, I was wondering, have you ever used this place called Strings by Mail? It's a website that I recently discovered that I've been ordering a lot of stuff for my classical guitar.
Okay, yeah. Yes, so Strings by Mail, I've used them before. I've used them when I need to get kind of obscure strings, and they're like a major seller through eBay. So you'll get they sell tons on eBay. They've worked really well for me. I buy in like huge bulk orders every couple months. So I'll buy, 100 sets at a time, and that'll last me 3 or 4 months because I have so many guitars coming and going. But yeah, that's awesome. What strings have you gotten from there? And do you feel like...
Well, I haven't gotten any strings, but I've gotten a footstool for my guitar support for my classical guitar.
There you go. Yeah, so, man, they kind of fit in the, like, they're a distributor, and so they're getting big discounts, and then they're kind of selling on their own, which that's how most guitar accessories used to be sold. Like, we had a guy, when I worked at a vintage shop in Virginia, we had a guy who would sell stuff. He'd call once a week. They had a warehouse not far from us, and they would drop ship a bunch of stuff. And that's the way it used to go. It seems like now it's being more consolidated into Amazon warehouses, and but usually you can get a pretty good deal from those guys. So I think you're onto something. If you get strings, let me know later on and see how it goes.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. See ya. Yeah. What was the phrase? Jobbers? Yeah. There was a phrase, like in the U.S., people would call them jobbers. And, yeah. So, Evan runs a TC Electronic Hall of Fame with your acoustics, and it works great. I do too. So when I need reverb, so there's a really good reverb. We're talking about acoustic effects. The Fishman Tone Deck is really surprisingly good. It does a couple things really well. The first thing is it does really good reverb. You have kind of a springy, smaller room reverb, and then you have a hall reverb. There's 2 different kinds of delay, and then you also have chorus, flanger, and tremolo. But I love the Hall of Fame Mini. Oh boy, multiple people calling. This is a 905. Hey, you're on with Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Jeremy calling.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Jeremy. What's your question?
I was just wondering. I'm pretty new to buying and selling guitars.
Yep.
I have my own business working on and repairing other musicians' guitars.
Oh, awesome.
Setups and other various things. I was just curious, as you sell guitars yourself, what's your kind of advice in a sense of like, what style of guitars did you kind of go for in the beginning? Were you more for like vintage guitars or more for like modern day guitars? Because for me, it's like, it's really difficult to really make the decision on what I think is going to sell and what's really worth investing in, right?
Yeah. So when I started, I was in high school buying and selling guitars. And it was like 20 years ago. So it's a little different. But for me, the first guitars I started getting into were ones that I could find used and pretty affordable. So at that time, it was like Fender Mexican Strats and Tellys. I didn't really like Tellys at that point. So I would just buy Stratocasters. And then I would just kind of look for Epiphone, Les Pauls, standards, some customs, just middle of the road stuff. I think just getting your head around, because there's so many variables, like there's 1,000 different kinds of guitars you could buy, but then you also have the other stuff coming from people like, it's also all of those other skills you have to learn, like what are guitars worth?
Yeah.
And then all of just like, well, how do I write listings so that people email me or call me faster? Or how do I take pictures so that people want to buy my guitars? Which is actually like, your question will be perfectly answered by like what I've been working on the last couple weeks in this guitar course. Because I cover a ton about like, how do you find the right guitars for you? And then when you get the guitars and they're wrong, how do you sell them? And there's some really practical stuff about how to take pictures, how to write descriptions, how to read people, like So you're in it, man. Yeah. So I went with newer stuff because used stuff is just too risky, I think. Because there's too much that can go wrong on old guitars, and you'll get there eventually. But I think it'd be really scary to don't spend more money than you're comfortable spending, and so
100%,
yeah, because that's where you'll just get in trouble when you buy expensive stuff. Like, so cool, man. That's a great question. All right, I got more calls coming in, so I got to run.
Yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, man. This was fun. All right, let's see. There's another call. Sorry. Oh boy. Here we go. Alberta. Hey, this is Jeremy. You're on.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Good. Who's this?
This is, you'll know me from your comments sometimes, ZC calling up from Canada.
Hey, sorry, what'd you say your name was?
ZC.
ZC, yes, yeah. Is this Zolly? Yeah. We've talked before. You sent me a video.
Yeah.
Zolly, how are you?
You nailed it. You're very good. Good. I'm really gonna try to be as quick as possible because I know you're being inundated over here.
Sure.
I just want to say, number one, thank you. I originally found you because I was looking up just to know and educate myself a little bit more about an old 1967 Gibson B25 that I have. And you have a video that you wanted to know. And that was the first time I discovered you. And you had one liner over there where it just kind of changed my perspective on what I'm looking for guitars. And you said life is too short, something along these lines. Life is too short to play guitars that don't inspire us. So like that was a changing point. Like I'm not looking for a good guitar. I'm looking for guitars that inspire me to play. And that took me on a lot of different directions. Sold guitars and bought guitars that kind of are resonating with me. And one of the things I always like to have in my collection, like you mentioned, is something that you're kind of happy traveling with, that you don't kind of mind if it gets dinged or banged up. So I had different travel guitars, but none of them inspired me. So I've sold my GS Mini and stuff like that. And I want to know what you think, if it'll be sacrilegious, if I find a nice solid gig bag for my 68 Gibson B25, because it is a smaller guitar, and travel with that, it's kind of beat up already. So like if I had one or two more scratches come to what's the big deal type of thing. And I want to know kind of your perspective on what you think of that approach.
Oh, man.
On the road.
Yeah, okay, so I'm kind of with you. Like, I have a guitar that people might think is a bit sacrilegious to be a travel guitar, but the guitar that goes with me, like I went on our beach vacation, it's gone with me on camping trips, is my Waterloo WLS, which that's a pretty similar guitar to your B25. I mean, all solid wood, American made, and I noticed the other day, it's got some dings and dents that it didn't have a year ago. But I think the metric that I use is, does it bring you joy? Does it travel well? Are you okay with it getting a little bit of wear and dings? And then also, is it, because there's more risk with that guitar, is it an amount of money that if it was just gone, would it destroy your world? I mean, it's okay if it would be kind of a hard hit. Like for me, to lose a $2,000 guitar would be a hard hit. But it's a risk I'm willing to take because I just enjoy that guitar so much. And with your B25, I think you're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I mean, that
helps. I like that.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because I think the trade-off would be you could back down to a different kind of guitar. Like you could probably get like Epiphone just put out an L00, like the Inspired by Gibson L00. So that would be a $700 or $800 guitar. I think that might be more, but you could get other guitars in there. But it just, do they work with you? Do they inspire you?
Yeah, because a lot of times when you're on the road with the family, when you're traveling, a lot of the times those are kind of where some great musical moments can happen. And
absolutely.
I don't want the right instrument to be with me. I just don't want something that I bought only to ding around and travel with. It's just not the same. The memory's not the same.
Yeah. Man, that's true. And I also like, and it's not really your question, but I am trying to cultivate like a creative and musical household. And my wife is too, like for our kids. And so like I let my kids touch my guitars and play my guitars. I want them to strum them when I'm playing with them. And so for me, like the idea of creating a musical household and a legacy of music kind of filling our home as my kids grow up, if they can, that's what they think about with their childhood. I'm okay with, like, I want that. And so, I try to not let guitars be too precious. Now I have guitars that I'm like, I don't let my 2-year-old smack on, but overall,
Okay.
Cool, man.
Bless you and be blessed and keep on doing what you're doing. It's great. And I'll leave you with one thing, if you could touch in between the calls, which is like a suggestion to a good solid gig bag for stuff.
Yes,
like that.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thanks, ZC. Bye. Man, that's awesome. It's so cool because there's all these people that I know your names through YouTube, but it's cool to hear your voices and to hear more of what's going on. So, there are 2 gig bags recently that have blown my mind as far as quality and protection. So last week, I borrowed my original Husson Dalton. Actually, it was on the live show last week. It was a Husson Dalton DRH. I've talked about this guitar a lot. It's a guitar that was just really expensive. and completely wrong for me. And I had it for a couple of years. I ended up selling it. I lost almost $2,000 on this guitar. Sucks. Oh, it sucked. But I'm very glad that I sold it, and a dear friend has it now. But when he let me borrow it, when I sold it, it had a tweed TKL case, which hard cases for acoustic guitars are really hard because they make your guitars double in size. As soon as you take them out of the case, you have a guitar that you have to store and takes up space, and then you also have a case that takes up space. So a great thing that I found is the mono cases. So when I picked up that Husson Dalton the other day, it had a mono case, and I was just shocked at how good that thing was. It had, I think it was called a neck block, the headlock. That's what they called it. There's this block of foam. It's really squishy. It's really safe. It completely envelops the back of the neck and has this big, thick Velcro thing over the top of the neck. Between that and all the padding, it was so cool because it had like a small pocket up front. It had a pocket with pin holders. I mean, I want to move away from, I feel like I'm really tired of big, clunky dreadnought cases. I mean, they fill it, and especially because I mean, they're everywhere. I have floor to ceiling. I have a stack of them over here, and I would much rather have something cool. And yeah. So, oh boy, lots of missed calls. 780. Okay, that's the one we just answered. That was Zolly. And then who else? Anybody else? Okay, I've got more calls coming in, but it got a little crazy there for a minute. Let me come back over here to the commerce. So Paul's talking about, I use the New Neighbor Immerse Mark II for both acoustic and electric. Super pristine and easy to switch between types of verbs. Also, it doesn't take much space, so that's good for a smaller pedal board platform. That's awesome. I'll grab a pedal that I've used. Oh boy, there's a case right back here behind me. Speaking of cases in the way. Also, there's an amazing, let me talk about this for a second. This is the, what do they call this? This is the new Taylor case, and it's amazing in there. It is this like thick, wonderful, protective, pretty hard gig bag, but this thing, it has backpack straps. It's super comfortable. It feels like a backpack, has a big pouch. I mean, I would take this over a TKL hard case that just has, it's the Aero case. Yes. So this is the TKL Aero case. This is a game changer. I think a couple others, man, I'm totally in on that style. I think I'm ready to let go of like big TKL hard cases. I also I'm not anti-Carlton case or however you pronounce those. They're just so expensive. I think Carlton cases are $1,500, $2,000, just way too much money, in my opinion. I grabbed the wrong pedal. So acoustic effects for me, in my opinion, in most settings. So when I play out, I play mostly acoustic guitar. I play almost entirely acoustic guitar, but I don't want to be known as just an acoustic guy. I want to be helpful and connected to all of the guitar world, particularly acoustic guitars, or particularly electric guitars. But in my experience, when you're playing out acoustic guitar, unless you have really good monitors, you don't hear yourself as much. So if you get effects that are too drippy, too thick, too wet, that's the word I was looking for, you don't hear them and they just get kind of muddy. So I think, so that's where I think for me, having subtlety and remembering to not go too heavy on my acoustic effects unless I have really good monitors. So I'm just looking, I've been kind of nerding out about in-ear monitors because I need some, both for live shows like this. It would be really helpful to have in-ear monitors, and a bunch of other situations. I just need to be able to hear. And our church is building out a new building, and in the new building we're going to have an in-ear monitor system. So anyway, all of that. But I love, this is probably one of my favorite effects pedals recently. Focus. So this is the Fathom Audio. What's this? Oh, this is the Walrus Audio Fathom. I love this. This is a giant, crazy, weird, shimmery. I mean, just a giant, not subtle reverb pedal, and it's awesome. But what I find is, especially if you're strumming, because you just play an acoustic guitar a little differently. So when you're strumming on that, it can get like way too washy and giant. So anyway, so for me, I think this is all coming back to Tom's question earlier. I think that the having a little bit of reverb, a little bit of tremolo or chorus. I feel like I'm also traumatized by the chorus of yesteryear. I mean, you guys tell me, like, do you feel that? Like, especially acoustic guitar, especially in the church, just a 12-string with a chorus pedal, and we're singing the same song 45 times. I've got some trauma there, guys. Fret Level says, that Waterloo is baller as hell. I'd never leave home. Never let that leave my home. Yeah. I don't think I have any guitars that are too precious to leave home, but it's also, I'm pushing the borders, the boundaries. I haven't had too many situations in which I've like not. I've had some guitars that I definitely don't take out. I don't have any right now, I don't think. I have guitars like, I have plenty of guitars that I would take out way before I would take out others. So anyway, cool. Well, there's the number. Let me put the number back up and you guys can call. So somebody call me. Let's talk. Also, this mug gets wasted on me. If you're left-handed and you have a coffee mug, it gets wasted on you. So anyway, here's Wonderwall. Because if you're lefty and you hold your coffee cup, all of a sudden I'm the only one seeing it. Who else? I got a text from somebody. Oh, Mark. Mark Hopkins. This is so fun, from At Home with Mark. He said, you know that Harmony acoustic I have? You think it, oh, maybe I don't think he's watching the show. I think he's just asking me this. I'm just going to call him and see what happens.
What's up, friend?
Hey, buddy.
What's happening?
Are you watching my live show or did you just text me?
I just texted you.
That's funny. Okay, so I'm doing my live show right now, and I'm doing a call in, like, ask me questions.
Oh, that's funny.
So you're on with at least 54 people that I know of. So can I ask them your question, and then I'll just answer it here?
Yeah, that's cool.
Also, our text chain is ridiculous when I look through all the GIFs in our text chain. Anyway, okay. So your question was, you know that Harmony acoustic I have? You think it's worth having a pickup installed, or should I keep it period correct?
Yes.
So the Harmony you have, what's it called again?
It's a Vogue, so it's 1939. Yeah, Harmony Vogue.
A Harmony Vogue. How cool is that? I'm gonna see if I can find a picture and.
And the guy that I talked to you about a while ago that's gonna do the restoration is Baxendale Guitars.
Yes.
So like they've done, I think he's done work for like Jason Isbell and a ton of people, like Jeff Tweedy. But I'm about to ship the guitar, and he was like, "Do you want me to install a K&K pickup?"
You should. I think you should put. Okay, so this is a 1930s. It looks a lot like a Gibson L00. Or it's a little bigger than an L00, but it's a very cool old 1930s American-made guitar. But it's is it ladder braced?
I have no clue. It's. I mean, I've never looked inside of it. I know that the bracing is terrible. So they completely detach the back and front and everything and re-brace it. So
okay,
that's his process.
Okay, yeah. So and we've talked about this. It's an amazing way of bringing so much life into an old acoustic guitar. So typically, and I'm sharing my screen now for everybody. So typically, these guitars are going to have ladder braces. So they're going to be like rungs on a ladder. So 2 big horizontal braces, and then probably 3, sometimes 4 braces going across the guitar. And so that just makes them sound kind of boxy and stiff. And so what the guy's doing, my understanding, he might do it through the sound hole, but sometimes they take off the back of the guitar and then they re-brace them to be an X brace. And they're also going to change out the bridge plate and put like a really dense, like a maple. So it adds a ton of life and boom to the guitar. I think it's a total like no-brainer to put a pickup in it because the guitar already, so it was your grandpa's, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not going to go anywhere. It's staying with you. but it's also like you're changing so much on the inside. It's kind of like saying, let me see, what's a car equivalent? Like, hey, we're doing a full suspension and engine swap. Should I change out the electronics? Like, it's kind of like you're adding so much life and vitality to it. Why wouldn't you put a pickup in it while you're at it? And the K&K pickup is a very minimally invasive pickup in a guitar.
Okay.
It's
it a good pickup? Like it doesn't
it's a
like squash. Okay.
So it's the pickup. It's the same pickup I have in my Paget. I put it in after you were here last time, and then I also have it in my Waterloo.
Okay.
It's a really good pickup. It's very like bassy, like for your style, especially for slide and maybe some lower tunings. It feels like a no-brainer to me.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, I trust your opinion, so I will have them do it.
Cool, man. That's awesome. I'm super
Sweet.
excited for you, and I really want to see it when you're done. So.
Oh, totally, dude.
Cool.
And
Are
I'm bringing
you?
down
Cool.
some
And
of them. We're hanging.
awesome. And you're headed to Nashville here soon?
Monday, yeah.
Awesome.
Working on the single. Yeah, dude.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Cool, man.
All right.
Sweet.
All right, peoples. Thank you, Jeremy. You're the best.
See you, man.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye. So that's Mark Hopkins. He's an amazing friend. He runs At Home with Mark, a guitar podcast, and he's just awesome. He's an amazing singer and songwriter and guitar player. So, buddy, Matt's too shy to call. You don't have to be. And this is also Google Voice, so you can call me from all over the world. And okay, so here's a good question. Any suggestion on a chat box for a good from the chat box of a good gig bag that isn't $200 to $300? How much are the mono cases? They're probably expensive. Gator does some of them. I feel like at some point I picked some out for my Sweetwater shop, but I don't know. But anyway, Hoff Guitars says, "Hey Jeremy, what model Martin 000 would be your choice?" I'll leave this up. So if I had to pick a Martin, I'm now at a place where I think that Martin makes really good guitars, but I think you can get great guitars from smaller builders in the same style. So my Paget Model 1 is a mahogany back and sides Sitka Engelmann spruce on mine. So if I had to pick, I would go, I'm a mahogany guy, so I would go with a 00018 or an OM18. Yeah, one of my favorite Martins I've ever owned was a Martin OM18V from like 1996 or 1997. But yeah, the 00018 is a great guitar. They're really fun. William says, I have an LR Bags. I also have an LR Bags mic in it, run through a small Fender Mustang amp. Wish you could do a review on the Teton 150 cent. Okay, I'll check that out and see if I can get one. If I can borrow one from Sweetwater or somebody, I'll get one going. What do you think of the G45, especially when compared to the OG G45? Well, I think the OG G45 is a reworked J15. So if we go back a couple of years, I think the best guitar I've seen from Gibson in a long time is the J15. Very cool guitar, walnut back and sides, full dread depth, all gloss. I sold it to my friend, I won't say his name. Sold it to a friend here in town. Really, really great guitar. The new G45s, they are fine. I don't think you're getting actually, they're not fine. So earlier today, I had a really cool phone call with Chris and Matt from Driftwood Guitars. We're going to start doing some fun stuff together. And the guys from Driftwood Guitars, they're doing these videos where they buy a guitar, they cut them apart, and they do like such practical, like, how is this guitar if you cut it apart and you look inside? And yeah, so it's really interesting. I just think you're not getting enough guitar for the money. I think that they're poorly built. I think that they cut a lot of corners. To not get a guitar with binding, so binding it's way more than just the aesthetic. Like an acoustic guitar without binding is a liability. You shouldn't take it anywhere. If you bonk it on a tabletop or a corner or anything, you run a really high likelihood of splitting them apart. Mahogany. That's a good name. 2021 USA my brain reading words. 2021 Harmony USA comment, serious neck dive. What lightweight tuners would you suggest? Okay, so I'm curious to see if changing tuners, if you could change enough weight that you would change. So what's happening with this guitar is that it's neck heavy. And so you put the guitar on and you just feel it drop down on your left side. And so you constantly feel like you're kind of wrestling the guitar back up. This is a very common thing for original Fender Starcasters. Firebirds do this a lot. Gibson Firebirds, Gibson Explorers do this a lot. What other neck heavy guitars are there? SGs are really neck heavy as well. So I think, yeah. So I think the big one would be maybe swap some tuners. You might get some open gear tuners if you can find something that would match the same holes. I'd get away from Grover. Like, I love Grover Rotomatics, but they're heavy. And so if you can get a little less weight, the other trick with this is get a strap that's like leather and untreated or like minimally treated. And you can get something that the strap will grab a little more, then it won't slide. But if you have a nylon strap or a kind of glossy leather strap, you can get it to where it'll stop kind of rolling down so much. So Tom says, thanks for the inspiration regarding octave mandolin. Dude, I freaking love octave mandolin. I'm glad that there are more people hearing the good news of the octave mandolin. It's an amazing instrument. So Tom says, you're sitting at home waiting on a Northfield octave delivery. Oh my gosh, can I come over? I want to come hang out. I want to play an octave. I want a Northfield. I want a Northfield mandolin. That's so high on my list of dream instruments. And that's an instrument that I definitely like. I don't feel like I deserve it. I don't feel like I could afford it. It's just such a cool thing. And I'm very excited that you got it. Michael says, I bought a 0028 last year, and I really appreciate the smaller body size for couch playing. Yep, that's great. That's a killer one. So Caleb says, did anyone watch the Driftwood Guitars Taylor Factory Tour reaction? And what did you think of it? So Chris and I talked about that this morning. And I think it's interesting. I think Taylor makes fine guitars. I don't think that Taylor is a world-class guitar builder anymore. They have shut down their R Taylor, and even now the 9 series. I mean, Taylor is a really good. It's a really well-made guitar. I own one. I've owned a handful, and but I don't think that they are like. Okay, there are tiers of acoustic guitars, right? So there's the level of guitar that you would spend $1,000 for, made in a factory, going to be made in Mexico or Southeast Asia. You're not going to get one in the U.S., I don't think. You'll get a Mexican-made Martin. You would get one of those others. But then you move up into like the how do I talk about this? Factory-made guitars. And then you get into like American-made factory guitars. So you're going to get into like Martin D18s, D28s. You're going to get into J45s, the Gibson Generation series. And those guitars, they're fine. They're good, but they are their priorities. Taylor firmly in there. At that point, like Taylor and Martin's top priority is not making the best sounding guitar that they can. They are mostly, at that point, they are aimed at making the best, the most reliable guitar that has the least issues, that the most retailers would buy and then resell. And so just their priorities are not making the best guitar. So it's not until you switch gears into getting into a boutique builder or a small builder, and then even smaller than boutique, you have custom guitars. And so like Driftwood is custom guitars. And I think it's really good to show in really clear ways that like, the way Taylor makes guitars, the way Martin makes a lot of guitars, they're factory-made guitars. They are taking a lot of energy trying to make. I mean, they're just making as many guitars as they can. It's a different ethos. So anyway, I'm super excited. So Chris and I feel like we're fast friends because we like a lot of the same kinds of guitars. Yeah, that's the same reaction. Steve says, I'm not cutting my guitar. That's true. And we're not cutting every guitar, but I think that for some of them, it's really helpful. I mean, it's kind of like crash testing. in cars, that there is a way in which we need to see what is it going to do in the moment it needs to, like, what's the worst thing that could happen to it and what happens to it then. And that's really helpful. So, Joseph says, put a K&K Pure Mini in my 1980 Guild D35 in. Sounds good, but a little weak on the treble side if you're playing leads. Otherwise, sounds good, especially if just playing chords. Okay, so the way the K&K pickup works is a little different. It is a darker sounding pickup, and if you put it in kind of a dark sounding guitar, like a Guild D35, it's going to have a lot of bass, a lot of mid-range, and not as much shimmery highs. And so that's the other thing is I would recommend if you're getting that pedal, if you're going to get that pickup, you are going to need a preamp on the ground. You're going to need to control the EQ more. And so for me, I have a K&K in my I have a K&K in my Padgett Model 1, and I have a K&K in my Waterloo. And both of those, they just need some tweaks, some TLC. And so they just need a little bit of help kind of getting up and above. So, all right, we got 8 minutes left. This has been a good one. That's funny that Mark texted. So, hang on. Somebody texted me over here. Matt Budd says, ever put a piece of gear up for sale and then see someone else put up the same thing for a lower price? Did you get in a race to the bottom price war to score the buyer, especially if it's niche? Okay, so I don't pay too much attention to competition. For me, I have kind of a multi-pronged strategy. I want to write the most compelling description. I want to have the most captivating pictures. So I want the best description, the best pictures. And as far as price, I want to kind of give them a good deal, not a great deal. I think that the truth is the race to the bottom dollar, everybody loses. If you're selling a guitar and you're only making $100 or $60, $70, you are going to not be when you're doing that, you're giving the least support because you can't. I've got to just burn and churn, turn and burn. And I have to get on to the next deal and get to the next thing. So I'm not that worried about other people selling stuff. But if somebody immediately, they clearly looked at my listing and are just doing the same thing I'm doing and they're just pricing it according to mine, I'm going to do something above and beyond that will make it to where they can't compete. So you just have to figure out what that is. Yeah. So, Gary, great question. So Gary says, Jeremy, ever play a James Olsen guitar? I have. I've played many guitars made by Jim. And a little known fact is that Jim offered me not a job, but he offered me to come and move to Minnesota and to work for him and to learn how to build guitars with him. And everything was kind of moving in that direction. And that was right around the time that my mom died. And so for my family and for my own life, I had to say no to not work for Jim Olsen and learn how to make Olsen-style guitars. If you don't know, Jim Olsen makes incredible guitars. He is, when you look at most of the designs of the boutique-y, high-end, amazing guitars around the world, they all seem to have some shared DNA, if not just inspiration, as far as OM size guitars, longer scale length, multi-piece necks, the bevel cut on the arm. So they are world-class guitars. He's most known for being the personal luthier to James Taylor for a long time. He's recently retired, but I've played several SJs, and they are truly, truly magical. One of my favorite players that plays Olsen is Jim Cole, and he's hard to find because he was not widely known, but he does an amazing version of "People Get Ready." People get ready. There's a train to haul in. You don't need no baggage. Just get on board. That kind of old gospel song. And so anyway, Olsen guitars really are magical and they're really wonderful. I'm excited at how many great builders are now coming out that have a similar style, similar convictions about the quality of guitars. but they're quite expensive. I mean, years ago, Olsen's kind of started around, 10 grand, 12 grand. Wow, Tom has a 93 Gibson or Olsen SJ. Love it. Just received a Trinity, a K&K Trinity to install in it tomorrow. Man, what a day. Octave mandolin, new pickup in your Olsen. I want to be Tom. Back to work, Tom. David says, honestly, I have no idea the difference between Rosewood and Hod. Hog? It's Mahogany for me. Yeah, they're very different. So Rosewood and Mahogany. So today I did 3 coaching calls right back to back. There were 3 hours. I was just sitting here with this same camera setup talking to a camera. I basically have been doing this all day, which is the best way I can spend my time. So I've answered the question probably 3 times, which is what's the difference between Mahogany and Rosewood, which there are a bunch of differences. But as far as tonally, the clearest way I know how to say it tonally is that Mahogany is a very gentle EQ curve. It's going to be a little more mid-pushed, but it's very clear, very present. It's not overly bassy or overly trebly. All the frequencies are going to be about the same volume, which makes it a really great guitar to sing with, a really great guitar to pair with other people, other instruments. It kind of sits in the mix really well. Now, Rosewood is a scooped EQ. So it's pushed bass. It's much more bright and chimey. It's a little more subdued in the mids. It is a big, bold, loud guitar. It works really well if you're a lead player. It works well if you want to get out, kind of poke out over the mix a bit. If you want to play with banjos, it works really well. So anyway, Daniel, I'm sorry, Daniel, I have seen your email. I promise I'll get back to you. Hang on. I promise we'll talk to you. So we're talking about the North American Guitar Show in Philly. I think I'm going to try and go there. I have one thing, which is why I haven't gotten back to you. We have a thing going on here on that Sunday, so I think I'll have to get back out. But, Daniel, I promise I'll get back to you. Anybody in the chat have a Ditto Looper or the Ditto Plus? I'm looking for a pedal I can load backing tracks into. I have one. It's in my drawer back here. I have one that I've used a little bit. It actually belongs to Matt Hutchinson. He might be in here. But wait until you start branching out into other tone woods like Koa, Cocobolo, Acacia, Walnut, and others. Yes, they're amazing other tone woods. And that's really wise that there's tons of options. Koa is a really beautiful. It's beautiful to look at, and it also has a really specific sound. Maple is wonderful too. New builders. I proudly own 4 E.J. Henderson guitars. Rick, that is insane. She's so... Okay, so E.J. Henderson is an amazing builder. She's in Asheville, North Carolina. Her dad is Wayne Henderson, and she's just charming and wonderful, and she just makes amazing instruments. She also makes a lot of ukuleles. This is so good. Bo, hey, buddy. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. I know. So videos have been slow because I've been working on the course. And so I promise I'll get back to it here soon. I also have been trying to sell stuff because I need to clear up some guitars so that I have money to buy some more guitars. I'm also going to resurrect the $500 guitar, the Dream Guitar Challenge. I think I want to end up with probably a Northfield mandolin or a really nice octave mandolin. If I could get that, that would be really wonderful. So I think I'll buy and sell guitars. I'll make videos along the way. We'll have to pick out a charity because I'm going to give 10% of profits along the way to it. So anyway, Elliot has an answer about the loop. So he loops with the Boss RC20 XL. It can load tracks into those guys, and those guys are cheap now. That's true. That's a good one. All right, it's 3:00. Let me see if anyone else called me. I think that's all the calls for a while. It was intense. Oh, Rick Beato just went live. That's why our numbers just dropped. Probably this chunk of people going over to see what Rick's talking about. Oh, somebody's trying to reach me about my car warranty. That's good. The warranty on my 01 Excursion and my 97 Subaru has gone out. Jake, this is a question I want to hear more about. Jake says, I tried a Breedlove American-made Myrtlewood high-end Oregon blinged-out guitar. I love it, but would have to trade a guitar to get it, or maybe sell a kidney. Have you tried the Breedlove? I have. My dear friend Asher has a master-built Myrtlewood. Is it an M25? It is an amazing guitar. His is a cedar top, so it's cedar top with the Myrtlewood back and sides, has the big zigzag bridge. I think that those are amazing. So they're great guitars, but they're quite expensive. How much are they asking? What's the price on that? Wait, what is this? Rick Beato blocked Davids. Paul Davids? Is that true? That's funny if he did. Davidas. I would block Davidas. Davidas, he's funny and he's interesting. But he's also, man, like, he is contentious. That's how his channel has grown is, $16.99. Jake, that is a real guitar. That's a really good price, I think, for that level of guitar. Send me pictures. I might buy that. No stupid autocorrect. Yeah, well, Davidas is not a normal thing to try and type. But there's a question about mandolins here. Are there significant tonal differences between mandolin body styles, A versus F? There's a very substantial difference in tone. Mandolin A style, so these are the ones that are more teardrop shaped, and now there's an F scroll is the other body shape. They're built very differently. The tops are very different. The biggest thing is the thickness and the volume of the wood in the top. I feel like my camera's on a Joby tripod, and it feels like it has sunk down, or maybe I've sunk down. It's late in the day. I've been talking to a camera for 5 hours today and freaking all week. But, okay, mandolins, two different main shapes. There's an A and an F. The big thing with an A is they sound very old-timey. They sound very old. They don't sound bluegrassy. They're more mellow. They're not as loud, but they're more subdued. They're really sweet sounding, and they're much more affordable typically because there's most people that when you think mandolin, you think bluegrass, you think F style, and thanks to Ricky Skaggs and Earl Scruggs and all those guys, you just get to where like mandolins are real expensive. And so most good F style mandolins are $2,500, where you can find amazing Gibson mandolins, A mandolins that sound really good. They're more mellow, more chill, and you can find them for an A40 from the 1940s. You can find those for you can get an American-made mandolin by Gibson in the 40s for $800. So they sound really good. And also Jake, see if you can get it for $1,200. See what kind of deal you can get. Yeah. Say, hey, would $1,200 take it? And they'll say, no, $1,200 won't take it, but $1,400 will take it, and then you'll get a deal. And and tell me about it. Tell me about the deal you get. That makes me happy. So mandolins, F-style mandolins are carved. I mean, both are going to be carved tops, but there's a lot more mass. And so F mandolins are barky and loud and punchy and present, and they want to get out there over a banjo. But one of the things I found is if you're not a lead player, A-style mandolins work better because they're a little more musical, and they sit back in the mix a little bit. I get stressed out when I have an F mandolin because I feel so loud that I'm either not playing naturally with my right hand or I feel pressure to play lead, and I'm just not a lead player. So Mark says, I've noticed calling mandolins are insanely expensive. Yes, they are. They really are. But they're also, they're full-on boutique instruments. So, but yes, I've seen 40s Martins in the $1,000 to $1,500 range. Yeah, that's true. So, okay, well, guys, it is 3:07. The phone has stopped ringing. It's the end of the week. I'm going to play a little bit of guitar, and I'll hang around here for just 5 to 7 more minutes. I'm going to play guitar. I might answer a couple more questions. But, hey, hold on. Chill out, okay? Listen, there are things you need to know about. So the first one is I've launched my guitar shop, my guitar page, with Sweetwater. If you use the link in the description below, if you buy anything, string, straps, picks, a new Les Paul custom, whatever you get, I get a commission, and that is an amazing way that helps these videos pay for all the things that they need to pay for. So this is the way I take care of my family. I also did a video this week on Broad Porch Coffee and how we make this coffee. I'm really proud of this. It's amazing coffee made by dear friends in the Shenandoah Valley. And I like that video. Go check out that video. And last thing, there are hats. Let me turn this back off. I literally, just today, these boxes showed up. And in these boxes are more hats. So, buy a hat, become a guitar hunter, fill the world with music and friendship. And these hats are awesome. This is the last of them. After this, it's gonna be a little bit. So 3 or 4 weeks, the other hats lasted. There's 30 hats here. So buy hats at Guitar Hunter. I'm gonna move stuff over. To free shipping. So I'll cover the shipping. Those cost me like $5 per shirt to make. But anyway, that's some of the best things that you can do. So that's meandering mind. If you want to help support this channel, things you can do: buy stuff through Sweetwater, buy merch from me, support the links and all the stuff down below. If you're curious about Sweetwater, is also awesome because it's like the mic I use here, the stands, the monitors, the interface that you're hearing all this stuff through. They've been amazing sponsors to the channel. So thank you. Okay. So 3X. I don't have any 3X, but I will get some bigger shirts. I've got 2X. I used to have some real big ones. I'll get bigger shirts. Jeff, take care. You and your family enjoy the weekend. We will, man. It's like peak. It is peak leaf changing in the Shenandoah Valley, and it's just wonderful. So I'm going to play guitar. I've got to turn this thing back up, and I'm excited to have a good weekend. This is really fun. Thanks, everybody, for your support and your kindness to me. And I hope you fill the world with music and friendship, that you're able to get out and just enjoy, play your guitar a bunch this weekend. Also, I didn't talk about this earlier. I've got Zach Broyles from Mythos Pedals sent me a Mjolnir. And so this is a Mjolnir. Everything's at like 10 a.m. It's pretty chill. Oh, nope. Anyway. Saoshin? I don't know how to pronounce that. Sachin? Mandolin from Regina, Saskatchewan. Have you heard of this luthier? It's actually Saskatchewan Guitars. I haven't. I'll check him out. Matt, just buy one. I'll send it to you. I'll cover the shipping. It'll cost me like $10 or $12 to ship it, 12 or $15 to ship it, but I'll eat it on that. Other people, the profit from others will subsidize yours. And I want guitar hunters all over the world, because there already are guitar hunters all over the world. People who love friendship, who love music, who are able to fill the space that they go to with kindness. And there's no room for gatekeeping. We just want people to discover the joy of playing guitar and to fight insecurity and to feel like they belong. So I know those honky tonk. What was that? Yeah, these. Man, that sounds like... What is that? That sounds like that Tyler Childers. Anyway, I'm just going to noodle and... This is what you tune in. Use somebody. Can't play that one. Can't play that one. I'll get the email. JP Cormier wears his t-shirts every once in a while during the... Yes, I should. Oh, I have one on. I gotta take my shirt off. Hey, we've come full circle. We're talking about clothes. What clothes are you wearing? I'm wearing a Guitar Hunter shirt under here. Do it. Go buy a Guitar Hunter shirt. They're super comfy. They're awesome. This is also very ketchup and mustard today. Anyway, it got weird there in the last couple minutes. But guys, gals, friends of the internet, I don't take it for granted. I am so thankful for each and every one of you. Hope you have a great weekend. Go kill it. Get out. Do some stuff. Feel good about yourself. Feel good about the world. There's a better world in front of us. Always. Because people like you and I are in it. And we're not going to give up. I don't know. I feel very motivational. This is a motivational speech. So, there you go. Matt, send me your info. Buy a shirt or buy a hat. And I'll send it to Paisley. So, all right. Tim O'Brien and Joe K. Walsh both play A models that will kill an F-star. It's true. It turns out it's kind of like a 335 or whatever guitar. It's a lot about the player. Gear helps, but it's a lot of how you play and how you work it. So anyway, bye everybody. See ya.